Hey lovelies, I have big news, big changes for this week that's really important because for the past couple weeks, we've been in the rhythm of just doing study one board, next week doing study two, study three, which study three should have been due Sunday, okay? So I'll get that graded. Cambridge, the AICE Art Design got back with us. They know how we're going to be giving scores. So this is super important if you want to earn a credit, earn a score for the exam, okay? So that's where the big changes come in. I've outlined those big changes over here on lesson, like our weekly learning target, and I'm going to talk through it. So I just want you to know it's here. So we're no longer doing studies anymore. So this being like this week, Monday, you were supposed to start study 4. We're not doing that anymore. So there is no study 4. So like cross it out, okay? And there is no more study 5. We're just like getting rid of that. So all we have to work with is study 1, 2, and 3, okay? So let's explain, how do you get a score? I have to show evidence of your work, and I have to score it internally based on their rubric. And I send those scores to Cambridge. And then what they're going to do is they're going to randomly audit me and check how I scored you guys. And then they're going to want to see that evidence. So I have to compile all the evidence in like digital folders with each of your name. So that way if they randomly call and go, hey, I want to look at Sienna's, question why she received this score, then I have to show and have evidence. I have to hold it for like a year of Sienna's artwork and then explain and justify how I gave her that score. So I can't share any of these scores with you, just so you know, so don't ask. And I have a couple of weeks to get it all prepped. Now, what does that mean? There's 2 parts to this exam, right? Component 1, we've already did, right? You made your solution, you have your boards. We left off prior to the spring break just waiting for the prints, okay? We can't print anything. It's not going to happen, which is fine because I just have to have these digital folders. So, but I have to show evidence of your component 1 that you did it, along with just folders of the work digitally, whether that's digital art, photography, or research, okay? And that makes up 50% of your grade. Then the second part of the exam was the 15-hour test, which there was the preliminary work, which was all the studies, and then what you produced during the 15 hours. Well, we're not having an official 15-hour test, but over this week and next week, you have to produce official 15-hour artworks. So that way I can score your study boards 1, 2, and 3 along with official 15-hour artwork. And that together makes 50%. So 50% equals your like overall grade in passing. So what does that mean to you? Well, a couple of things. The most important one, if we're just talking scenarios real quick, some of you did component 1 really well. So let's say I give you, let's just say like a C, right? And you're like, ooh, that's passing, right? And then I've noticed that many of you have been MIA and not doing anything associated with the 15-hour test, like component 2. So you're not turning in study boards. And if you don't do a 15-hour test, that's 50%, which means I have this blank folder that was supposed to be for the second part of the exam, so I have to give you a 0. Well, if I take a C and an F, which they call a U, ungraded, you're not going to pass. It's going to be a U. So in essence, okay, if you are wanting an exam, like if you want to pass and earn a college credit to go towards your AICE diploma or just to carry with you as you go into college, like it is imperative that you do this other portion of the exam. You have to get done your study boards and you have to complete some artwork for the 15-hour test. Because here's the other scenario. You do component 1, I give you a score. You only do part of a study board, then decide not to throw any artwork together for your 15-hour test, that 15-hour like official artwork actually weighs more than the studies themselves. So if you don't do that, even if you've started a little bit, I'm going to have to give you a U because it's going to be some sort of F. Granted, it's not going to be 0 points, but it's not going to be passing. And again, you're not passing. So the key to passing is you have to like do these study boards and you have to produce artwork for the 15-hour, because that plus component 1 together is the grade I have to present to Cambridge. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. If we go back to here, this week, I only need you to do 1 15-hour work. And when I say 1, you should have done study boards 1, 2, or 3. So I don't care if it's study board 2 or study board 3 or study board 1, choose one of them. In that study board, like if I were to look at Mia's, because luckily she's here and I can show her hers. So this is Mia's example study board 1, where her artist she chose was Kandinsky. This blank area is where she would have put her research of Kandinsky. These were her studies. This was her observational. But down here, part of the rubric on your studies was to talk about your idea that you would do in the 15-hour test. So what I'm asking you to do this week is, her word she chose was dismantled. And here were her ideas that would combine the word dismantled and Kandinsky, okay? So this week, she needs to make 1 artwork that would be considered the official 15-hour artwork that is essentially her idea, which I think if I were to read this, she was going to do some photography or something with an object, okay? And it has to show connection to Kandinsky, okay? Now she has 2 little sketches. She has multiple. She might have multiple ideas. So at a minimum, you have to have 1 artwork. But let's say this week, because this is evidence, and the more you do, the more I can give points theoretically, because you have technically 15 hours and I'm only requiring 2. So no one's going to hit the full 15 hours. I'm not expecting you to do that, but you do have some time. So maybe she does this first artwork idea and doesn't like it, or in the middle of making it, she comes up with a second idea that combines Kandinsky and dismantled. If you want to do multiple artworks to show evidence as 15-hour work, then that's fine, okay? But on the learning target, that's what I wanted to clarify. You're only doing 1 study, and at a minimum, you're just making 1 artwork, just like 1 artwork to count towards that 15-hour exam, okay? And then the following week, just to give you an idea, it will repeat, but maybe now she might choose study 2, okay? We'll get to that later, but just for clarifications with that. The other thing I wanted to mention, because I know this video is a little bit long, okay, is so you're not doing sketches, you're not doing studies, you're just making the official 15-hour artwork. I can't stress that enough, okay? So on the learning target here, I put in the rubric, okay? This is the rubric that I have to score. It follows their rubric. So your 15-hour artwork rubric is, you get 25 points connection to your selected artist. So meaning if she chose Kandinsky, I better see some Kandinsky-esque style characteristics happening in that 15 artwork. B is a new one. It's the exploration. Your 15-hour, sorry, her poster's falling, okay? In the exploration, your finished 15-hour work shows evidence that the student added new stuff. So it's like, yeah, I can do a Kandinsky-esque artwork, but they also want to know is, well, what part of that is also you? Like, what is your personality and your aesthetic? So like going back to, I think that critique, like, show me the Kira or show me the Mia. Show me what you like doing in addition to showing me that you understand Kandinsky, okay? So that's your exploration, adding that like new risk-taking or new element to the artwork that makes it you, not just a copycat Kandinsky. Then the C, development of the test word. So there were 5 test words. Obviously your studies, you selected one of those words and you're building these studies. So development ideas is just that you're showing evidence of interpreting the word creatively. So how did you handle the word dismantle? Because that was Mia's word. You know, like what did she come up with? What was the idea that she had to show dismantled, okay? And then the last one was your composition, technical, and art elements and principles. They put that all together in 125 points. So I have to look into, not only did you creatively come up with how to interpret the word dismantle, not only did you have to add something that was uniquely you, but then also, you also had to show style characteristics from your selected artist. That fourth one is, did you have a good composition? Do you have good technical? And then most importantly, do you have some art elements and principles in there? Okay, so you have to be thinking about that as well. So minimum one artwork due Sunday at 11:59, and you're going to put that on OneDrive, okay? You're just gonna put the artwork there on OneDrive, all right? Last little thing I have to cover is, because if I go back, I mentioned that I have to show evidence. Like I have to collect the evidence, hold it in some digital folder in case they randomly audit me and want to see why I scored a person a certain way, which means I need to collect all of your component one boards. We've done it in pieces, but I need one spot, like one spot where all of it comes together. So sometime this week as well, I need you to show, like collect it all. So I'm gonna show you how, like what that looks like. So I'm using me as an example, okay? So I'm going to move over here to our OneDrive. Mia, can you see that well? Okay, she's my cameraman, by the way. So here is the folder that says Art 1 15 hour. That's where you're going to put this week's 15-hour artwork, okay? But you'll notice that right here I made a folder called Component 1 Exam. So when you click on that, you're going to make a folder for each of your names, okay? So here I started with Mia's. And what I needed Mia to do was a couple of things, because this is for auditing purposes and for me to grade. What I had her do first was take a picture of each side of her component one boards. So here was her written, here was her sketch. All this blank was what needed to be printed out that I said, fingers crossed, that you were supposed to have gotten prior to spring break, but now that's not happening, okay? So if it's blank, that's fine. But this is her side 2, side 3, side 4, side 5, side 6, side 7, and side 8, okay? So these were all the sides of the boards that don't include the solution. Please label them, because I have to show that I've collected the evidence. Please label it side 2, side 3, side 4, side 5, etc., okay? Now, since some of the artwork wasn't printed, I have to show evidence that you've actually created it. So what I asked Mia to do, and this is what I want you to do, all of you had pre-planned your boards. You included the digital. So this was a screenshot from her Photoshop document where she put in the photos and the digital artworks, right? For side like this, or she called it board 2. And then this was the screenshot of her photos that she did that needed to be printing, but this was for side 3. Does that make sense? Are you following me here? This was her digital artwork. This was another digital piece that she had done, and again, digital piece. These are all the ones that were supposed to be printed. So she coordinated the title. So this says board 2 instead of side 2, but I do know that board 2 and side 2 go together. So for me, that's enough evidence to suggest her digital work along with her written work. Board 3, side 3. Board 4, side 4. Does that make sense? So you just need to show me the digital stuff, like what you had planned out, and then show me the physical, because then, we can connect the dots that these were the pieces that were the fillers that needed to be printed, okay? The last thing besides the boards was the solution. So if we go back out to AICE Art and Design and you click on all past folders, okay? Click on that. And I want you to go to solution, right? Solution artwork. You all did it. So I'm going to hit solution artwork and I'm going to find Mia. Where's Mia?
Down, probably.
Okay, fine. There she is. Mia. So in this folder was, because this is important, it was her finished artwork right here, along with her artist inspiration, because this is technically side one. I'm not making you build side one on the boards because this is just for auditing purposes. So all I want you to do is go move your folder. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This is Mia Panetta. You click on the folder, you go to move to, right there, and then you hit your OneDrive, you find our class, and then I find the folder, so I'm going Component 1 Exam, I find Mia Panetta, and then, so I have to click Mia Panetta, okay, and then I go move here, and it's going to take that entire solution artwork folder and move it into the Component 1 Exam. So if we did this correctly, I just went back out. I'm going to go to Component 1 Exam, Mia Panetta. I have all those boards that we were talking about, plus her folder, you see it right there now, plus her folder of all of her solution stuff. So for auditing purposes and for me to score and see what kind of grade you earned, this is what I need to properly assess, okay? When it comes to the studies, I'll just look into the individual studies since there's like only 3 of them. And then you're going to be, just know that you're only going to be making 2 of the 3 studies. So you'll only be producing 2 official 15-hour artworks. So make them good because that's what I have to use to assess to represent 50% of your overall AICE exam. We have a couple of weeks. If you are sitting there going, oh shucks, I'm really behind, I haven't even turned in my study boards, I haven't even thought about it, get on it. So your assignment right now is to make the 15-hour artwork. You can't do that until you've done the study board. So for those students who are slacking right now and haven't even done the study boards, this week you got to do a study board plus a 15-hour artwork. But it's imperative that you do it. And if you ever want in hopes to get a passing AICE art and exam grade. I think that's it. I know the video was long. Let me know if you have questions. And that's it. Go forth and succeed. Bye.